innovator and chairman for the India Advantage Summit. This is our 9th edition. So 9 years ago, we believed that India has a huge potential. The young people in India are innovators and they have products and solutions for the whole world. So we started this summit. We bring together sustainable solutions, startups, big companies and mid-sized companies, so that the world will see what India has to offer and India will see what the world has to offer. So our event is like a bridge that connects the global ecosystem with the Indian ecosystem and enables solutions that can scale and solve problems to create a sustainable future. It's great to see over 300 participants coming from 15 countries. This event is for 2 days. Later today in the evening, we have a VC and capital roundtable with more than 50 venture capitalists in person and the IFSCA chairman, Rajaraman sir, who will be chairing and saying how capital can find opportunity and how capital can deploy to bring solutions to scale. So all the contents are online at tiasummit.com, the website, so you can find all the tracks and all the speakers. There are some wonderful startups and some of them will go on to scale and become even bigger. Just a few names, Namayatri, all of you know, the founder will be speaking here. There are some wonderful mobility, battery startups that will be speaking here. So we look for 2 days of innovation, conversation, collaboration and sustainability. Thank you.
Yeah, I am Rajnish Agrawal. I represent a French company in Bangalore, Embellizo India Packaging Private Limited, and we produce temperature controlled packaging for all the pharmaceutical companies, and we were one of the pioneers during the COVID time to transfer all the vaccines in temperature controlled packaging, and we are one of the first company in packaging, temperature controlled packaging, to introduce sustainability in this sector. And connecting with TIA, this is one of the best platforms what I've seen in terms of knowledge sharing, understanding the different initiatives, the new projects which are coming up from different countries to India, and the startups or the new initiatives in terms of AI or new technology which are coming up in India. And when we have the audience from different countries, the different consulate generals and the investment trade partners of different countries, so this becomes one of the best platform for the different companies to showcase their projects, their products and their technology. So thank you TIA for inviting us, and all the best to everyone. I think more than 200 companies and an audience of around 400 plus as far as I know. So, but it's a great platform where we see and we interact with a lot of companies. With you can see new technologies which are coming up, new initiatives which are coming up, which in general we don't know. We see a lot of government officials talking about the big startups, incubators and all in this type of development. But in this platform, we directly meet them, and companies like us also, we can connect with them in development of the new products what we use in our solutions.
Consul General of the Netherlands here in Bangalore. It's always a pleasure to come to the India Advantage Summit. There's a good crowd here, and it gives us an opportunity to talk about what is happening in the India-Netherlands relationship. And we are looking very much into co-innovate with Indian partners, Dutch partners, especially in areas of sustainability, but also in key enabling technologies that helps us transform our economy into a zero carbon circular economy. And India is an important partner and growing partner for us. So happy to be here again today.
Coming months by connecting and plugging into some of those opportunities. Over to you.
Of course. First, thank you, Jules, for the invite. It's always a pleasure to meet you. Talk about the Indo-French corridor here in South India, and I would say that it's one of the most dynamic bilateral innovation space in the world, especially here with India on very strategic topics such as AI, education, sustainability. We work very closely on all of these topics. So I will take a few examples of cooperation, very concrete example. On the tech side first, we were very happy to have India on board on the AI summit which took place in Paris this year. And we are very happy also to work with India for the next AI summit in Delhi. We will work on the Shakra together. Then, very concretely, in Karnataka, we had a LOI letter of intent between Paris Santé Campus and CCAMP in Bangalore, which will more connect our healthcare ecosystem. Then we had an MOU signed between Avon City, which is one of the best schools in AI in France, and with IIT Bangalore. And we have a lot of growing number of cooperation going on. We are trying, for example, in Telangana to connect Station F, which is the best incubator in the world, with T-Hub. And we do also have here in Karnataka a very strong ecosystem of French startup, which is called the French Tech India. They are very active and they do organize a lot of networking events. So I think it would be good for you to connect with them. On the academic side, also France is here. We do have a lot of programs here. We currently have about 30 active MOUs in Karnataka only between the best school in France and the best school here in Karnataka. And we do have some programs like Choose France and France Alumni India, which help more than 8,000 Indian students to study and research in France today. So they're part into training all of these talents. I'm very happy to have here the system on board. And Deepak, I think you left. But as we keep repeating in every event, we see a real shift. Indian talent is no longer but as an equal in terms of innovation. And we see agreements, French GCCs, and creating very high value products. So the Indo-French corridor is strong and developing at a very fast pace, at a pace I would say of the Bangalore startup. Thank you.
Between the two prime ministers and all the other CEOs joining, so it's a good thing to keep a watch for. And we will also be doing some roundtables on AI later before the big summit, which will happen later in Delhi. Nonetheless, thank you for pointing out those wonderful schemes. And now I think all of you have heard from. I also know that a lot of things are happening. Nonetheless, a lot of GCCs are getting established from the US. Innovation is getting driven through India, not just in the past, but even now. I saw yesterday there was somebody setting up in Bangalore a GCC. So this continues to happen. Where do you see in the next 5 to 10 years the collaboration between India and the US going? What is your optimistic or pessimistic estimate about it? Just a few lines and then we will go in that direction and asking.
The Karnataka branch of the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce. I am also a partner of a largest Indian law firm called JSR Associates, JSA. I don't think the investment, collaboration, growth story between India and the US is ever going to slow down. May not be for the next 5 years, next 15 years, unless there is going to be a huge, socio-political impediment which is likely to happen. What we are seeing in terms of the collaborative engagements is that the scale of collaboration is now getting better. Earlier, India was used as a back office operation for several companies. Today, we are being integrated into mainstream technology, innovation, product development. And that makes a big difference. While we know that the federal government has been making noises about a few aspects, which again have their roots embedded in other issues, several states of the US departments keep coming to India to try and foster better relationships. So that way I am very optimistic. And I also hope that the current geopolitical situation globally, Europe, Asia, China, US, continue to have some level of stability to keep the story going. And that's the only hope that I have.
We live in a fast-changing world, and geopolitical challenges are there, but that also offers opportunities. So a few of the things that we are excited about, first of all, the EU-India free trade agreement negotiations. Trade negotiations are difficult, but both parties are still committed to reaching a deal and that could be huge for future opportunities. And then from the Netherlands, we are working towards a strategic partnership between the Netherlands and India. It is ready to be signed, but some political obstacles, mostly on our side, have prevented that from being signed. But all the work is done, and we are really working to expand the existing relationship in trade and investment, in innovation, in water, agriculture, health, into new areas. New areas such as security and defense, including cybersecurity. That's something that we are very active on here in Bangalore as well, bringing Indian cybersecurity companies through the Netherlands, but also looking at a cybersecurity online school that we have every year, developing talent and looking for opportunities. Another area that we are looking at is semiconductors. The Netherlands has a unique semiconductor ecosystem in its borders. We're one of the few, or maybe the only country that can deliver everything. And there is a growing interest in India. We saw the top management of ASML go to Semicon India for the first time this year, and that has created a lot of buzz on both sides. So we are looking also for business opportunities in that sphere, but also research and development, and especially important also talent development. ASML already employs 1,700 Indian nationals in the Netherlands, so we rely on Indian talent in that sphere. And the government is majorly investing billions in keeping our semiconductor ecosystem at the forefront of international operations. Other areas that we are looking at, life sciences and health, including medtech, including pharmaceuticals, space, AI was mentioned. Yes, we are also looking at having a high-level delegation in Delhi in February for the AI summit, and we are trying to organize a roundtable, maybe around the Bangalore Tech Summit, on Indo-Dutch opportunities in AI when we have a high-level visit from the Netherlands. So these are some of the, maybe not sustainability, but they also contribute to sustainability. These are technologies that are required for our
on stage, also committing and looking to enable growth and a sustainable future. Thank you so much, Ivan, for that.
So I think maybe I just wanted to, the point which I wanted to make an opening statement is the kind of funds which is needed to make something, to move country like India, right? I also got a lot of thinking when the Council General was mentioning that the Netherlands grid got choked because of the uptick in EV. You just imagine the condition of India, right? With the kind of population and the scale what we have. So the point here is that our energy is going to be at a peak, let's say from 2030 to 2035. That's going to be this time which is going to be the maximum, which is needed of the grid. So just to touch very, very high level, right? Like, India also is committed to this Paris Agreement by the national determined contributions. When you calculate it, India needs $2.5 trillion to move from where we are to, in 2030. So that's a huge figure. And if I have to distill it further, let's say close to about 500 billion is needed in the top 4 segments, like let's say steel, you take the manufacturing, it's the process industries, heavy industries. This is going to take about 500 billion is needed to move them from where they are to be at least, the carbon, emissions norms, whatever we have signed up for. Okay, so let's take the journey a little more forward. 2070 by net zero, that's a huge commitment which as a country which we are taking exchanges, both technologically and well as the financial as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Around very strategic topics such as AI, mobility, climate, agriculture, and we'll organize a lot of events in the frame of this year, and some side events will be based here in Bangalore. More green, I would say greener, because sustainability is at the core of our partnership between France and India. We do have a lot of initiative in this field, and we do have a lot of innovation, bottom-up innovation, in fact, between incubator like NSRCell and big French companies such as Pernod Ricard, which are working with local startups on this strategic topic of sustainability. And third, I would say more circular and more human, because at the French embassy we have a big work.
I'd like to thank Consul General from the Netherlands for your kind words in the very beginning. In fact, the Netherlands are our main trade partner, and whenever you do activities in North Rhine-Westphalia or in the Netherlands, you will always profit from our close relationship, and of course we also have a close relationship with France. We border also on France, and I think a vision that unites us all is that we're hoping for the free trade agreement between European Union and India to come in the hopefully next years, and I believe it will definitely accelerate everything that we already do between between European countries or our state of North Rhine-Westphalia and India. To give you some few examples what we have done in this year, we receive a lot of delegations from India. We invite delegations. We have a Future Tech Fest, for example, takes place in Düsseldorf. It's a large startup and tech exhibition, the largest in Germany, and we received a delegation from India startups, some I believe 30 startups that we host, and we set up a program for them to connect them with the important state setup business in North Rhine-Westphalia. And again, in November we have the largest medical fair that takes place in our state, Medica, where we will also see a lot of Indian delegates coming in. Especially we're happy to host a delegation from NASCOM that will be led by the president of NASCOM, Rajaraman. So there are a lot of things going on. We will then, a week later, be back in Bangalore at Bangalore Tech Summit, also with startup delegation from North Rhine-Westphalia. So a lot of things are already happening, and we will continue and try to intensify with our growing team. So I see a lot of potential in the coming years.
Excellent, thank you. Here in person, pushing and giving support towards innovation, towards collaboration. Your final thoughts, what do you see will happen in the next?
And I would like to thank you, first of all, the great panelists on the stage, because you mentioned a very crucial, important thing, which I mentioned quite a little bit earlier during my intro. And this is what I call the Da Vinci effect. We are already working together, so especially thank you for the kind words. North Rhine-Westphalia is one of the biggest partners to the Netherlands, also to France, and then comes the point we are already establishing, let's say, European open innovation ecosystem, and that's one of my statements and wrap up for today. We are already here establishing an open innovation ecosystem, and that's so important, this concept, to have this concept in mind, because in the entrepreneurial way or manner, we would say it's a kind of competition, but it's regarding the countries, but we are already in cooperation, so it's competition. And I see for the future that the European countries has or have diversified their own economies to, let's say, that the dependency from the US, from China, from the Asian countries has shrunk a little bit, and that we have established from the government side specific high-tech sections where we not only have the playground for the companies to work together, but where we have established, the Consul General has mentioned, a strategic partnership between the governments to set the level playing field, especially in the so-called high-tech. This means AI, defense, aerospace, and quantum computing. And last sentence, we are already working on it, because we hope that we can announce during the upcoming Bangalore Tech Summit, announce with the government of Karnataka to have this kind of LOI, and we are already from a political side working to have a memorandum of understanding signed next year together with the government of Karnataka in these specific fields. Thank you so much.